Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing Drawback chess, where each player is assigned a random drawback, like Cowardly, where if your opponent captures, you must move backwards, or Warlord, where your king has to be off the first two ranks. I'll be selecting Give Me Whatever, so I have a better chance of getting drawbacks we haven't seen. My goal is to win 3 games. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1, we get the white pieces, and our drawback is My Kingdom for a Horse. If your opponent captures a knight, you lose. Okay, we have gotten this one before, but it's not as bad as some of the other ones we've now been exposed to. So I'd imagine my strategy is basically not to develop the knights, which puts me in a kind of weird spot, because now I have 3 pieces that I have to worry about, both of my knights and my king. I mean, my other option is to potentially move my knight to where my bishop is right now, and kind of have them all in a bunch right here. Which doesn't seem like such a bad idea. We are put in check, we'll just block it with the pawn, counterattack the bishop. Bishop goes back to d6, targets our own bishop. I'd imagine I can develop the queen, target g7, also defend the bishop so I don't have to double my pawns. If I do have to recapture, we get knight to f6, which does allow me to take, which is very interesting. A free pawn and we hit the rook, but the rook shuffles over. I can also follow up now with actually bishop to g5, right? Pins the knight to the queen, and if they don't defend it, I am taking a free piece. Right, so they do defend the knight. I should probably be concerned about knight to h5 as well. I mean, I do have queen to h6. Should they take my bishop, I take their knight, but it doesn't look like a lot of fun, so I'm going to defend my bishop with the pawn. There's just no reason for me to allow them to complicate my position. Okay, the rook shuffles over. I didn't even see that idea, but luckily we do have the bishop defended now, but the queen does have to go. So I guess queen to h6 is our only move. Rook to g6. Oh, are we trapped? Oh, we might just be completely trapped here. Well, I did not see that idea, and I don't see a way out of it as well. Okay, we'll have to sack the queen. Not ideal considering we don't have that many pieces that we can play with in the first place, but I'm still kind of hopeful. Knight goes to h5. They're looking for a trade, and there's not really much I can do to stop them. So I'll go ahead and play g4. If they take, I can take back. They will have to move the knight out of the way, and then I have this nice check, potentially winning back the queen. If they do take my pawn, then I can take the knight, and I win a piece in that little transaction. They do in fact take on g5. I think they saw the rook to h8 idea, but I will take my well-earned knight. They do take back. I'll develop my knight to e2. I could have gone to f3, but I'm a little superstitious that we'll get queen to g4, and somehow I'll get my knight traded off, which would instantaneously lose me the game. All right, we get knight to c6. I suppose I should keep developing. Yeah, it's not really where I wanted to have my knights, but if I can get long castles on the board, I can at least bring the other rook into the game as well. I have yet to suspect my opponent of even having a drawback at all, to be honest. I haven't really seen anything weird on their part. I mean, the only potentially kind of weird move was bishop to b4 check, but I'm pretty sure that was just them testing the waters because this is drawback chess, and a lot of the drawbacks do have to do with check. So that's not really that strange. All right, let's go ahead and double the rooks. I'm not yet sure if I want to target h5 or just double up on the open file. We'll see what the opponent plays. Okay, rook to h8, so they're defending h5. Let's go ahead and play f4, grab some more center space. I'm probably going to have to bluff here a little bit. There's no reason for my opponent to randomly sack, for example, a queen or a rook or something for a knight. There's just no reason for them to do it. And if I play a little too suspiciously, like hiding my knights, I feel like it's going to make it very obvious what my drawback is. So I'm actually going to bring my knight into the game. Now, I'm not going to play anything silly like knight to e5 and offer a fair trade. That would put me at serious risk of losing the game. But I might, put it on g5, maybe threaten a fork even if I can't actually take it, and at least try to get a little bit active. I could also play knight to g3, target h5. I'm going to double up the rooks first. I'm at least threatening to take on h5 right now. So they should probably move the queen out of the way so the rook sees the pawn. Right, that's exactly what they do. I'll play knight to g5, stops the queen from getting further into the position, and again, the opponent has no reason to play something insane like queen takes g5, so I'm going to wait for them to call my bluff and just keep playing with my knights in the meantime. Now I am threatening to take again. They could play something like maybe bishop to e8, but I can still take because the queen is in front of the bishop. So should I take? They take back. I take. I guess they could simplify into an endgame, but that seems rather unlikely. All right, so now I can take back. Now, if they sacrifice the queen and go into, actually, yeah, they would go into an even endgame because I would have a bishop for their bishop and a knight for their knight. So there's no reason for them to take on h5. If they do, I lose immediately though, because I can't really take back. Losing the knight would lose me the game. All right, they go back to g8 instead. So the plan, the bluff so far is working. Play rook to h6. We want to stay on this file because I don't have any interest in allowing their queen to get back here. I'm also sort of loosely targeting e6, which they do go back and defend. All right, let's go bishop to e2. I'll obviously I can't really bring my knight to h5 if they get the notion that they should trade. You know, I, again, immediately lose the game. Oh, that's a big issue. Can't take this because if they take back, I lose. I did not see that idea, I'm going to be honest. If I take here, they just take on g5, so I kind of have to move the knight, but then I lose the rook. Oh, that's pretty ugly. Okay, we'll take on e6. I'm also dropping the knight on g3. There's a lot of stuff here that's, oh, and it's going to be a double attack as well. Oh, this is almost completely over. Yeah, they take on h6. Both of my knights are under attack. There's not much that I can do here. I guess I'll retreat one of my knights and hope I can move the other one out of the way. But they do, in fact, take. With that, we lose game number 1. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, game number 1, we lost. Your opponent's drawback was crenellations. Your pawns can only move to light squares. Okay, to be fair, our drawback was significantly more difficult than the opponent's. On the flip side, I also blundered my queen in like the first 20 moves, so I can't complain too much. Anyways, with that, we have 0 victories under our belt. Let's go to move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2, we get the white pieces, and our drawback is jumpy. When possible, you must move a piece that is being attacked. Oh, okay, I don't like that at all. Pretty much means I have to play defense. And even worse, okay, why did they just copy me? That's kind of funny. Even worse, should they like target a pawn, for example, that means I have to move the pawn out of the way and lose whatever's behind it. Okay, I already really dislike this drawback. Oh, and even doing that doesn't work. I was trying to defend g4, so that wouldn't be an idea, but now I have to move the pawn again. Yep, this is one of those drawbacks that works perfectly against what I like to do, which is play aggressively. Okay, maybe I should go for trades. Maybe if I just trade off a whole bunch of pieces and get into like a king and pawn endgame, maybe I'll actually have a chance. So I guess I just want to trade off all the pieces I reasonably can without losing material. They're thinking, I'm assuming they can take back. Oh, they can't! Oh, I have to move the bishop. That's not a bad thing though, because I can move it back. Okay, so what on earth is their drawback? So we've taken a knight and they weren't able to recapture. We took it with a bishop. That's pretty much all that I can put together at the moment. We'll move the pawn out of the way because we have to. Hopefully it looks natural, like we're stopping knight to b4. Queen to b6 means I have to move this pawn. Okay, the problem with our drawback is it's not hard to figure out what it is. And it's also forcing me to play b4 next if they keep the queen staring at the pawn. Actually, I have to move it anyways because the bishop would have been looking at it. Okay, so b4 is next. This is not great. Wow, they didn't take. So I can move either of these pawns. I mean, I have to move this one next, but this is very amusing. Unless they take with the queen. Well, they don't take back. What on earth is their drawback? I have no idea, but I love it. I'm so excited that they got that. Whatever awful drawback they're dealing with, I'm so excited they have it. All right, we'll play knight to d2. This will also be interesting because that means that if I want to capture their king, I have to do it when the king is attacking whatever piece I intend to capture with. Or possibly, you know, another one of their pieces hits my piece and then I take their king. But the first situation seems more likely. Okay, we'll play this and target the queen. Maybe we can get moving the d3 pawn off our backs. Okay, queen shuffles over. Now we have to move the e pawn, which is, I guess, okay. Should they take? They do technically target my rook, so I could take back with the same piece. Oh, that is a free queen. Okay, this is working out tremendously in my favor, and I have no, okay, and they resigned. I have no idea what just happened, but I guess we won game number 2. Let's go to pop up the info board. Okay, you won. Your opponent resigned. Your opponent's drawback was colorblind. Can't move to, oh, yeah, RIP. Can't move to squares of one color, re-randomized every turn. So they either can't move to any of the dark squares or any of the light squares, and it's random every single turn. So there's absolutely no planning that can basically go into it. We have had that drawback before. It is extremely mind-numbingly difficult to play with. So apparently our drawbacks were about equal, but we did manage to win. With that, we have 1 victory under our belt. Let's go to move on to game number 3. Before we move on, if you want to improve your openings, I recommend checking out the sponsor of this video, chessreps.com, which offers easy step-by-step opening lessons. Drill your opening to climb to the top of the leaderboard or do puzzles that come from real games. Like this puzzle where I can click back to see how we got to this Jobava London position before delivering this nasty fork. Puzzles are completely free, so you can keep doing puzzles to increase your opening elo and then take that practice into a real game, like I did to crush my opponent with the Jobava London. If you want to support the channel and become an opening menace, check out chessreps.com. Now, back to the video. Alright, game number 3, we get the white pieces, and our drawback is enormous. Fisher random. On or before move 20, all your remaining non-pawn pieces must be on your home row, on a square that it could not have started on. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit reserved. moved to allow the opponent to do whatever they please while I sort of figure out what sort of shenanigans I have to get up to rearrange all of these pieces to a square they could not have started on. So for example, if I put this knight on this square, it wouldn't count because that could be a square the knight could start on, if that makes sense. Okay, yeah, this is not going to be fun. Let's go here. I'd imagine I can fianchetto the bishop back to h1. If I castle, the king is on g1, the rook is on f1. So far that's great. The knight can come back to e1, and that's even better. All right, that solves the king's side, which does take a decent number of moves, but it does solve that situation for us. Also, if the opponent trades off any of these pieces, that also solves our problem. Now for the queen side, I'm not so certain what to do. I'd imagine c3, and then I do some sort of rearrangement like that. It's so ugly though. I also don't want it to be super obvious to my opponent what I'm doing here. Okay, let's do this so the bishop can go back to a1. I only have 14 turns left. Bishop comes out to f5. Let's go here. Following through on our plan to go to a1. This is very, very uncomfortable. Okay, pawn to a6. And what I'm thinking is actually I probably should have played c4 from the beginning. So the knight can come back to d1. I only have 12 turns left, but so far this is actually okay. I might even just drop the rook for the bishop. I have most of my pawns on dark squares, which means my light squares are inherently weaker. So as far as drawback chess goes anyways, it's not the end of the world to lose my rook for a bishop, so I'm going to play into that. They don't take it. That's kind of concerning. They do target c4, however. Okay, we're going to take on d5. If I can trade off some of these pieces, that also solves a lot of my problems, but we don't get that. We'll play queen to c1. I wonder if they just haven't noticed this or if it has to do with their drawback. Okay, I think they just haven't noticed it, but I'm not sure. We'll keep going with our plan. Our plan is going just fine. In 3 more moves, knight d1, knight e1, bishop h1, all of my pieces will be on the home row on a square they could not have started on. And we have 7 turns to make 3 moves. We should be in plenty of time. Queen to d7, absolutely no issues with that. Knight to d1 to follow. This is around the part as well where the opponent might figure out what the drawback is. Okay, they do finally see the rook, or are able to take it because of their drawback. We'll take on b1. Knight goes to e4, targets d2. Isn't really ideal. We'll go ahead and trade off the bishops. I have 4 turns left. I really cannot lollygag here too much. They do take on... Oh, do they know what my drawback is? I have 3 turns left. Okay, it takes means 2 turns. And I have 1, and I don't think I'm in time. Oh boy. Okay, maybe I have to like sack the bishop. Oh, that doesn't work either because I have 2 of these pieces further out than they need to be. Okay, let's go here. There's no way they can miss that. It's I can't make it any more free for them to take. Okay, they do take it. I'll take here next. Please take my bishop. Okay, whew. With 1 turn left, we managed to abide by our drawback. God, what an awful drawback. We were so close to making it like very cleanly as well. Okay, we'll just keep pushing the pawn. Now, the cool thing is, I guess I can just play normal chess now. The not cool thing is I'm down an entire rook with no compensation to speak of. I don't know what their drawback is. Their king is probably totally fine on g8. I don't have a positional advantage of any kind. So we're gonna have to make something appear out of thin air here in just a second. Let's go knight to c3. You know, I had to put them on the back rank as part of my drawback, but as a chess player, that's not really where I want them. You know, maybe we can get something sneaky like this on the board. We'll have something to celebrate. Let's go knight to e4. Don't mind me. I'm not looking for absolutely anything on the board. Actually, we might even have checkmate ideas there. So we have check here. If they move to f8, there's no checkmating ideas, but if they move like here, g6 I don't think helps us at all either, because I can take with double check, but I think they just move back. And at that point, I've just been a silly goose who didn't take a free queen. So I'll take on d7. Oh, they do walk right back into it. Okay, check again. Now we do have something to celebrate because we're getting this rook next, pretty much regardless of what they play, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to take on e8. Again, I have no drawback to worry about. So now I'm just playing a normal chess game where I'm up material, and at least in theory, the opponent has a drawback that they're dealing with as well. I mean, I don't know. They might have solved their own drawback like we did. All right, surely I can boot this rook, right? I guess f5 is fine. Well, no, f3, right? Should they take? I just take the knight anyways. Okay, I think I'm winning more material here again. Yeah, I think we've walked them into a little bit of an uncomfy spot there. Nice. So we do grab that knight, and the rest of this game is just a matter of conversion again. I will say, the cool thing about a drawback that has like an ending point is that once it's done, as terrible as your position may be, there's actually a decent chance that your opponent is still dealing with whatever their drawback is, and you're basically just playing a totally normal game of chess. So every move is still available to you. So I can go for totally standard attacking ideas and not have to worry about, you know, not moving on certain squares or having 3 bishops on the board or what have you. All right, the king moves forward. There has to be a mating idea here somewhere, right? Surely the rook follows and f7 is tumbling at least soon. I guess they could move here in the meantime, but then we pin the rook. There's literally no way to unpin this rook without losing it. If you ever move the king out of the way, I just take it. If you play g5, I guess that could work actually. I'd take on g5 though. I think I'd be a pretty happy camper. Okay, they do in fact move back. We can just take. There's absolutely no fear of stalemate because they have a whole bunch of moves. They give away the king. And with that, we do win our second game. Let's go and pop up the info board. All right, you won. You took your opponent's king. Your opponent's drawback was separation anxiety. Your pawns that are adjacent to your king cannot make moves that leave the squares adjacent to him. But your king can make moves that leave them behind. Okay, I will admit, I think this is accurate. That was a decently easy drawback. It just concerns your castling position, basically. We did have a harder drawback, but also managed to pull away with the victory. And with that, we have 2 victories under our belt. Let's go to move on to game number 4. All right, game number 4, we get the white pieces again. It's a 1-minute game against Will Reveal, but I will hide that. Oh no, I need to show my drawback, but the dismiss, they're revealing. Our drawback is Theocracy. On even-numbered moves, you can only capture with bishops. Okay, that actually doesn't seem that bad. On even-numbered moves, you can only capture with bishops. Oh, wait, no, I interpreted that completely wrong. It's not that I can only use, I can only capture with my bishops on even-numbered moves. It's that, wait, what? It's that on even-numbered moves, I only can make captures with my bishops. Okay, for some reason, they're moving their king into the middle of the board. So if I catch him in a check on an odd-numbered move, he's toast. That's our game plan here. Okay, why can I not? Oh, because I can only capture with the bishops. Yeah, I haven't quite settled in with this drawback yet. Okay, we're playing a very fast time control. I'm just gonna start throwing my pieces into the middle of the board and hope that something good happens. Not totally sure why their king is on e7. Oh, I think they have to have it a certain distance into the board by a certain turn. I actually remember getting that drawback as well. Okay, f5 just allows me to go back. I think they're just trying to create a safe space. We're going to make it as difficult for them as possible. So, you know, okay, that's not how h4 works. h4, g4, whatever we have to throw in their direction to make that king uncomfortable. Knight to d7. We could capture it right now. Should they take, we can also take with the bishop, so I just don't think that's a concern. I really want to play f3 though and break open the center. All right, they do take. I can capture with my bishop. 25 seconds, but we do get 2 seconds of increment, which is quite nice. On the next turn, I can only capture with bishops. I didn't really think about that, but not a huge deal. I just want to open up the center. Yeah, I might not even take back on g2. The only thing I care about is, you know, getting a line of sight on that king. We're doing actually pretty great on time. On the next turn, I can capture with a piece that's not a bishop, so that's nice as well. Should they not take the knight, I guess just knight to g5. If they play like h6, I have knight h4 anyways. So a lot of lines of sight into the enemy's position here. They're pretty down on time as well, which is always a plus. All right, bishop to d5 can only capture with bishops. I don't think I really want to take that, right? Because then I just centralize their own pieces for them. All right, I'd rather have this lame-o bishop hanging about. Let's go c4, make sure that queen doesn't get in any further. Okay, they boot the knight. We'll go back. On the next turn, should they take, I can't take back, but they don't. We'll go back again. Yeah, playing faster is very tough. I can't deny that for a second. Okay, they advance the pawn. On the next turn, I can only capture with bishops. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's put them in check and then put them in check again, guaranteed with a recapture because I have a bishop, which they don't, but we'll open up their king's position. If I get checked in a moment where I can only take with a bishop, I'm toast. So let's not do that. Oh, I can place the knight in front of it though and completely block it, which is a huge victory. Okay, now check, they have to take, but I can only take with bishops. It's actually not checkmate somehow. Oh, I can only capture with bishops. No, don't do this to me now. Okay, b4. On the next turn, I can take with whatever. They take on e1. I do take the king. And with that, we do win game number 4, our third victory. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, you took your opponent's king. Your opponent's drawback was Bong Cloud. When your king is on the back rank, you can only move pawns and kings. Oh, interesting. Okay, so actually, their drawback wasn't to get the king out, you know, to the 6th rank, which is what I remembered. I know for a fact that is a drawback. It was just get it off the back rank so you can actually develop your other pieces. Pretty uncomfortable, but I think we capitalized on it pretty accurately. Anyways, with that, we do get all 3 victories. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one.